What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Spin Fuel's Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it is Fresh Build Friday. We got a new coil for you guys to try out today, and it's a quad coil. This is a pretty exciting one. I've tried this build out a few times in the past, and I really do like it. And I, kind of forgot about it until today. I really just wanted to show you guys this beauty of a coil here. This is called the Kissin' Quad Coil. I saw it originally in Vape magazine, and the second I tried it, I fell in love. I never really liked quads in the past because I felt like the ramp up time was too long, but this particular setup right here is absolutely perfect. We're going to be using some 25 gauge Mad Rabbit and NI 90 wire. That's nichrome 90. And it's pretty good stuff. It's got great flavor, lots of vapor production, just an all-around great coil. So stay tuned. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. All right, guys, so as you can see, I have all the tools necessary for this build all laid out here. So today we're going to be using some 24, or actually it's 25 gauge Mad Rabbit. I know the package says 24, but this is actually their nichrome 90 wire. I don't believe the packaging was ready at the time when he gave me this stuff. So anyways, let's get out 4 strands of this. And they're going to be about 6 inches in length each, so you're going to need about 2 feet of wire total. Of course, feel free to use whatever type of wire you prefer. I'm just doing this today just to try it out, just change it up a little bit. So I'm going to snip my first piece there. And there we go. So like I said, about 6-inch strands per piece here, so just going to get another piece ready. All right, so let's get all this stuff out of the way for right now and start spinning up some wire. So basically what I do for this, I am going to be using my coil jig today. 3mm bit. For this, you're just going to wrap 2 coils using the overhand method, your normal direction, whatever that may be, and then 2 coils the opposite of that. So first of all, we'll just do the 2 coils regular here. And we're doing 7 wraps per coil today. And with the 2 normal coils, just do your normal 90-degree bends. Like so. Try to keep that positive wire as straight as possible. So now I'm just going to whip up another one of these. And just like that, we have our 2 coils ready to go. Now we're just going to do the same thing except opposite. So let's just back off the camera real quick. And I'll show you what I mean here. So by opposite, I mean you're going to wrap it in the opposite direction. So whether you wrap overhand normally or underhand normally, you're just going to wrap the exact opposite way. Now normally I wrap overhand, so right now I'm going to wrap underhand. And then that means the jig, you're just going to wrap that backwards as well. And again, you want to do your 90-degree bends. This is a tricky part because not used to doing it this direction here. Oops. Maybe for some of you out there, it would help if you actually wrap with the opposite hand. But for me, I just like doing it like this. The reason we do it like this is so that we get the positive leads going the same direction with both sides of the quad coil here. So you'll see it a little bit easier once we get everything on our device. Alright, so after you wrap all your coils, you're just going to take one of your overhand wrapped and one of your underhand wrapped and match them up. So that way you can kind of, it's hard to see really here, but right now the wraps are going under on the positive end. That's what we want. So it's going to be nice and matchy-matchy all through the center post here. So install one like normal, and then just the opposite one on the same side. It gets a little bit messy when you have so much wire going through the center positive terminal here, but just pay attention to what wires you're clipping and all that stuff, and you'll be fine. And don't really worry too much about what it looks like. Just get the wires about where you like them. Of course, I bend them up like I normally do, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And it looks like a big jumbled mess of wire right now, and that's pretty much what it is. So we're doing the right thing. Alright, so now that you have your big wiry jumbled mess, now you're going to try to position those coils where you like them a little bit before tightening down all that wire. So I usually just run my screwdriver through both coils and just try to even them up a little bit before we tighten them down here. So we're looking pretty good. We're in good shape. So let's go ahead and tighten down all that wire. And now the fun part, clipping all this wire off. If your terminals are nice and tight, you should be able to get a nice even snap if you just wiggle whatever piece of wire you're trying to trim here. So that's what I'm going to do for this stuff. Alright, so the hard part's over. Now we start the fun part here, which is making these coils kiss. So you just want to basically just reinsert your bit or whatever you wrapped around into the coils and then squish them together. Alright, so this is what you should be looking at right about now. Some really nice clean kissing quad coils. Let's go ahead and give it some heat. And just like any build, you just want to kind of gently pulse it just to work out any hot spots before, you know, the wire ends up melting or anything like that. You just want to just make sure everything's working properly. Making sure they stay straight and everything. There's a lot of wire in there, so it might take a little extra time to get these just right, but do take your time with this one. The results, I guarantee you, will be worth it. And there we go. We're looking pretty good. Alright, so coils look like they're ready to go. Let's go ahead and get these bad boys all wicked up. So I'm going to be using some more of this Native Wicks cotton. It's been working out pretty good for me, so I figure we'll throw some of that in this build right quick. So just like anything else, get your strand of cotton with a little fine point on the end there and just try to get it through. And you want it tight, but not too tight. It's really hard to explain the appropriate amount of cotton that you need, you know, just by showing you guys on video here. But there's a fine line between too much and too little. Usually the best bet is start off with a thicker strand and then work your way down just by peeling off a little bit layer by layer, because this stuff does have pretty noticeable layers to it. So if you feel like you're struggling a little bit with too thick of a piece of cotton, then just go a little less every time. And there we go. Just like that. Now, if you want to save a little bit of cotton, you can trim off any excess like that and work it through your other coil. It's not really what I do all the time, because generally I'll find a nice sweet spot with a piece of cotton, and then it usually takes a full other strand before I find the other sweet spot with the other coil. You know, every coil is different, and it's, like I said, it's really hard for me to explain exactly what I mean by that, but actually this is kind of working out over here, so I think we'll just go with it. But yeah, you know, I waste a lot of cotton, but you don't have to. So just go ahead and trim up those wicks a little bit. And there you go. So now we're just going to fluff it up a little bit. Usually what I do is I take a little piece of wire or the flathead end of my screwdriver, and I'll just brush through it real quick just to get out any of those loose fibers. You can probably see a little of that fluff kind of coming off the ends of these wicks here. But keeping your cotton fluffy makes it wick a little bit better, so that's why I like doing it. And then of course just tuck it in. And I'll be using a little bit of this Parrot Vapors Orange. It's like a Smarties kind of flavor. If you watch that video, really did enjoy this one, so I felt like vaping it on a dripper. Just want to see some of the performance of it here. So let's go ahead and just saturate that cotton. All right, let's see some vapor production. Looking pretty good. Let's put the top cap back on, go back to the main screen and have a vape. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the build section of the video. Now we're going to talk about some of the finer points of this build. First category being heat. This is a bit of a warm one. I'd say a warm to hot vapor. If you try to do more than a 5-second drag off of this stuff, it tends to get a little bit warm. However, for those of you out there that do enjoy a good warm vapor, this one's definitely going to be for you. As for the ramp up and ramp down time, yeah, there is a bit of a ramp up time because there's so much wire. We got a total of 28 wraps in this thing, so of course there's going to be a little bit more ramp up time than normal. And the ramp down time is not as long as you might think. It does sizzle for a few seconds after, but if you get that wicking down just right, I feel like that kind of minimizes it. As for the difficulty of this build, honestly the hardest part for me was getting the opposite wrapped wires to go around properly, and the opposite negative connections, the 90-degree bends. That was the most difficult part for me. I'd say a moderate to difficult kind of build, but for those of you out there that are familiar with a standard macro coil, I think this one should be pretty easy for you to try out. And for the flavor, I know that's the question that you all want to know. How's the flavor on this thing? Surprisingly enough, you get a really nice bright flavor out of it. In fact, the flavor I'm using now, I did a juice review on in my previous video, and I actually get some of the lighter, kind of higher notes to the flavor, which is like the candy aspect to it. I get that a lot more than I do in my little sub-VOD kit that I use for flavor reviews. However, I'm not saying that it dulls out any of the lower notes like the creams, custards, and vanillas and stuff like that. You still get full-on flavor from those as well. So that being said, that about does it for this video, guys. I'm going to puff on this thing a few more times to show you some vapor production, and then we'll sign out. So obviously I'm getting crazy vapor production out of this one, which definitely has to do with the surface area. Obviously, the more surface area that you have with a lower resistance, you're going to get more vapor production out of it. So that being said, that about does it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you leave me a comment in the box below for any future videos that you want to see me do, any type of specific coil builds that you want to see me try. I will definitely take those into account. And let me know what you thought of this build as well. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Check out spinfuel.com. I have all my videos up there, as well as Smoke and Joy and Spin Fuel official videos. And as always, vape on.